Hi students, a very pleasant and warm greetings to you all. Now we are going to see our first chapter. Our first chapter is Introduction to Computers. Let's move on to our topic and let's discuss about the basics of computer. Okay. This chapter is common for both computer science and computer application. So this first chapter will be handled by the computer science teacher Mrs. Shiny. Okay.
So you were given your computer book. Have you all bought your computer books? I think you all bought computer books. Please, if you have book, sit in your places and take your book. Take the first chapter. First, what's the first chapter? Introduction to computers. So first chapter they have given. So they are introducing what is computer and what are the things you are going to use and which are the places you are using. Just they are giving the basics of a computer. Okay. So before you are going to study about a computer, I am giving what is the expansion of a computer. This expansion from from first standard onwards you might have studied, I think it's so. But so after completing your engineering studies also, many students, if you ask what do you mean by computer means, most of them don't say the answer what do you mean by computer and what's the expansion, they don't know. So only before I am going to start your this chapter, so I am giving the expansion of a computer just to see. So what do you mean by computer and what the expansion? So what's a computer? Computer how many letters? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 totally 8 letters. First you have, remember this one, okay. What is C? Commonly operated machine, particularly used for technical educational research. So just note it down. So in your computer book or computer notebook or anything, first page you should write this expansion, okay. So each and every time, if anyone asks what is the expansion of computer, you are a computer science student, somebody else will say the expansion of a computer means, you should say this expansion. So first you need to study this one, okay. So name itself having commonly operated machine. So this is a computer, say which machine? Commonly we can operate. Not only a brilliant person can operate. So each and every person can operate computer. Particularly used for technical education research. Mostly nowadays they are using for what? Which are the places they are using? Studies, educational, research purpose. Most of the things they are using this computer. So name itself having, okay. Yes. So now I am going to enter into a chapter. Okay. So before giving the introduction about computers, first you need to know about the who is the father of the computer. So even a first standard student you ask means the student should say who is the father of the computer? Charles Babbage. You already know. Okay. Yes. So Charles Babbage is the father of the computer. So before he was inventing this computer at the year 1837, he invented one machine called analytical engine. Okay. What's sometimes so before I am explaining about this one, so I explain about your question pattern. Okay. Then you can easy to study. So question pattern means you will get 15 one-word questions. So how many one-word questions you will get? 15 one-word questions you will get. Then 2 more questions. 7 2 more questions you will get. 7 3 more questions you will get. Then 5 more questions you will get. Totally 70 marks. Your how many marks you are going to write exam? 70 marks theory marks you are going to write exam. 30 marks among 30, 20 marks practical and 10 internal. Okay. So this 15 one word question book back they will give, mostly the evaluation part is there. From 15 one words means 8 or 7 one words only they will ask from book back and 7 one words they ask from book inside. So don't skip each any one of the line from your textbook. So you need to read from first to last end of your chapter. Okay. So please study well. What are the things I am explaining? Please listen. Okay. Yes. Who is the father of the computer? Charles Babbage. Okay. So at what year? At which year he invented this analytical engine? At the year of 1837. Okay. So analytical engine names are having this analytical engine contain 3 things. First he invented which one? Analytical engine. So this is the diagram of the analytical engine. Have you seen? So this is the diagram of the analytical engine. So this analytical engine contain 3 important things. What are they means? Arithmetic logic unit. Arithmetic logic unit means ALU. Okay. What's the use of this arithmetic logic unit means? That is mathematical calculation like this addition, subtraction. These are the things are done by which one? ALU. These are the things already you have studied for lower classes. Then basic flow control. Second, what are the things available in this one? Analytical engine. Basic flow control. What do you mean by flow control? So for example, the water is flowing from upside to low side. What is flow control? Flowing from up to low. Likewise, here we are telling data. Okay, that will I'll explain later. So three things in analytical. What are they? Arithmetic logic unit ALU, basic flow control, then integrated memory. What do you mean by memory? So things you are storing, no, that is called as memory. So a lot of memory devices are there. Already you know a lot of memory devices. Memory card is there, pen drive is there, phone memory is there. So human also we have, which is a memory part of us, brain. Likewise, computer also lot of memory things are there. Okay. So this analytical engine he invented for the purpose of our general purpose computer card. What do you mean by general purpose? Normally we have use the computer, no, that is called as general purpose computer card. For general purpose computer concept, he invented which one first? Analytical engine. Understand? So this is not for introduction, for just for your knowing. So I am just introduction. That's all. So who is the father of the computer? Charles Babbage. So he invented which machine? Analytical engine in the year 1837. This and all they will ask for your one word questions. Okay. So this analytical engine consists of three things. What are they? ALU, arithmetic logic unit, basic flow control, and integrated memory. So this all the things are developed for which concept is developed? General purpose computer concept. Okay. This is the diagram of what? Analytical engine. This diagram is not available in your textbook. Understand? So if you have a note means please note it down. Otherwise if you have textbook means please mark it and study. Okay. So say next thing is introduction to, now only we are entering into a chapter. Okay. So before we are going to study about computers, so now I am introducing about what do you mean by computers and which place you are using computer. So what's the first thing? Computers are seen everywhere around us. So nowadays we can see computers in each and every places. Wherever we are going, we can see computers. So in olden days, whether we can see the mobile phones in all the hands of the people? No. Nowadays, if you see from a small kids to a old man, if you see means all of them have a mobile phones in their hands. Isn't it or not? Yes, that's the development. Likewise, nowadays computers can see each and everywhere around us. So if you are going to shops, there we can see computers. In hospitals you can go means there also you can see computers. In homes also we have laptops, computers, everything. Then mobile phones, a lot of things are there, isn't it? So we are without computer nowadays, yeah, this is not there. Likewise, our computers are growing. So we need to update our knowledge based on our this development. Okay. So in which places and all they are using these computers. Okay. So in the field of education. So in our education, whether computer is useful? Yes, nowadays are also we are giving online classes for you. So you are watching online classes through mobile phones or laptops or computers or so whether using for education it is useful? Yes. So education e-books you can download from net. Then a lot of things you can download, practicals, e-books, then doubts, dictionaries, a lot of things you can download from net. So the computers is useful for which one? Education. Next thing is research purpose. What's the use in a research? So research without computers, whether researchers can use? No. So research purpose is very useful. Then travel and tourism. Whether it is useful for travel and tourism? So nowadays you can book your tickets. That means online tickets through what? Computers. Isn't it or not? Yes. Next one is weather forecasting. What do you mean by weather forecasting? So in news and they will tell no, today rain will come or tomorrow. Based on that is called as what? Weather forecasting. Then social networking. What do you mean by social networking? Nowadays all of you know about FB, Facebook network, isn't it? That is called the social networking. So in Facebook networks you can connect lot of friends. So through what? Net. That is called as what? Social networking. Then e-commerce. What do you mean by e-commerce? E-commerce is nothing but online shopping. Best example is the online shopping. So what are the things you can purchase from online? Nowadays all the things you can purchase, isn't it? Dress, then household articles, all the things you can purchase from online, through online. That is called as e-commerce. Okay. So in which places and all you can use computers? In the field of, second point is education, research, travel and tourism, weather forecasting, social networking and e-commerce. Understood the second point? Yes. So third point is why we are using computers than manpower. Nowadays whether people are believing computers are manpower. Why? Because why we are preferring in accuracy and speed of performing a job. For example I am telling Max, So you are adding 10 or 15 10 digit numbers. At the same numbers you are typing in a calculator, which will give fastest result. Whether you are manually you are adding, that you will get the result easier, or in calculator you will get the result easier. Which one? Calculator. Why? So you will prefer the calculator very much, isn't it? Calculations are done in machine. Likewise, so particular job is done by a man, that it will took, for example, if a man is doing particular project or anything, he will took for 10 or 15 days to complete the particular work. The same work, 15 days work, the computer will complete within 2 or 3 days. Okay, the speed of performing a job. Then for that purpose we are preferring this computer. Then accuracy. What do you mean by accuracy? That means correctness. So if manually if you are adding means we will make sometimes mistakes, but computer won't make mistakes. Okay, that is accuracy. Understand the third point? Okay. Then fourth point is, nowadays without computer no organization can work. Isn't it or not? Without computer whether organizations can work? No. Nobody can work without computer. Likewise, computer is very useful for us. So why we are preferring the most of the organizations, why we are preferring this computer? Because paperless. What do you mean by paper and paperless? For example, so consider one company. So one company is hiring lot of employees. They need to calculate this employees wages and everything. They need to monthly, they need to calculate their wages, then funds, everything, PF, everything. So they need to write pages and pages in a diary or in a particular book. So that is a man-made paper based in a book. For example, 1,000 employees are working in a company. How much that paper they needed for, how much books or how much diaries they needed to write. But so if you are typing the same thing in a computer, whether you need any paper? No. That is paperless. Understand? What do you mean by paper based and paperless? So computer is whether computer is a paper based or paperless? Paperless work. Understand? Yes. Yeah. The next point is, computers are evolved over the years for simple calculating device. So in computers we can do small the calculations to high. For example, you can do small calculation. We can add 2 or 3 numbers. That is a small calculation. From small calculation to you can develop particular software. That is a large calculation. Okay. So from small things to large things you can develop through computers. Understand? This is the introduction about computer. So what are the things you have studied in introduction to computers? So in all over the world you can see computer. Without computers we can't able to see anywhere. So in the way, which are the places you need you are using this computer? Which are the places you are using? Education, research, travel, tourism, weather forecasting, social networking, e-commerce. Why I am repeating means sometimes they will ask for this one for 2 mark questions or 1 mark questions. So listen carefully. Okay. So why we are preferring this computers to do our work? Why? Accuracy and speed. So within 12 minutes or 15 minutes it will complete a job. So no organization can, without a computer the nowadays organizations cannot function. Why? Why they are preferring it is a paperless work. So this in this computer we can do small calculations to higher works. Understood? So next thing. So why most of the industries are preferring the computer work or this machine work? Why? Fast calculations. So for example, for that only before I said example the wages calculations. So the for fastest calculations they are preferring computer. Okay. So compared to computer, whether manual work is slow or fast. Think and say whether computer compared to computer and manpower. Which one is fastest? Computer is fastest or man work is fastest? Computer. So man work is very slow, and also we can manually we can able to produce errors. What do you mean by errors? We can make some mistake. But computer do not do any mistake. Understand? Yes. So before inventing this calculating, first invented one calculating device called abacus. So this already you have studied in lower classes. I think it's abacus. You are familiar. So which is the first calculating device they have divided for calculations? Abacus. Okay. So first calculating device, this they consider that is the fastest calculating devices for their calculation. Understand? What are the things you have studied here? So industries are preferring computer for their fastest calculations. So which is the best one? Manpower is best or computer is best? Manpower is the best. Why? Computer is the best one. Manpower can make errors or they can make done mistakes, but computer is not like that. So first they have divided on calculating devices known as what? Abacus. The journey started first on the important one word question. What's the first calculating device? Abacus. So which is the basics for the calculating device? Abacus. From abacus only they have invented new another calculating device. Understand? Yes. So till now we have studied about who invented computer, who is the father of the computer, and introduction to computers. Everything you have studied, isn't it? Yeah. Listen. So next we are going to study about generations of computer. Okay. What is the thing we are going to study? Generations of a computer. Very, very important 5 mark questions. Okay. Very, very important. So from first chapter, surely you will get one 5 mark question. Okay. So now itself you can study this question. Okay. Now itself you study. Surely you will get. So here 3 or 4 or 5 mark questions are there. Surely you will get from this 5 mark questions you can expect for your last public exam also. Okay. So from here you study. So today I am explaining about this first detailed answer. Okay. First 5 mark question. Generations of a computer, very, very important. Okay. Here how many generations are there, and so in this this asked for a 5 mark question means you need to draw this tabular column, like this tabular column you need to write. Understand? Yes. So take your textbooks. In textbook the second page they have given this tabular column. So if your textbook is there, no, please take it and on. So first you need to write generation. Okay, in generation, what's the first one? First generation. What's the first generation? So what's the period they have given means 1942 to 1955. What's the first period? What's the first generation of a computer? First generation in which year? From 1942 to 1955. Okay. So which component is used in the first generation means vacuum tubes. Now itself you can memorize which component they have used for the first generation. Vacuum tubes. Okay, first generation, which period they have used? 1942 to 1955. Understand? Which year? 1942 to 1955. And which component they have used? Okay. Yes, once I am explaining. First it is not visible, I think it's so. Okay. Yes, first generation. What's the thing? First generation. So which period they have used? 1942 to 1955. So which component they have used in first generation? Vacuum tubes. Okay. So next column you need to write merits and demerits. Merits and demerits means advantage as well as disadvantage. Okay. So what is the disadvantage they are given means big in size. Vacuum tubes. So in your textbook they have given the diagram. See, in the vacuum tubes place they have given some tube-like structure that is called as vacuum tubes. So that is big in size. That compared to next generation, the size is very, very big. That is one of the first disadvantage. Next thing is it will consume more power compared to other this first generation computers. It will consume, the power consumption is, what is maybe power consumption? Normal electricity power. The consumption is very, very high in first generation. Okay. Then next point is malfunction due to overheat. That means continuously if you are using, for example, if most of them have touch phones anyway, isn't it? If you are using the mobile phones continuously 3 or 4 or 5 years, you feel heat, isn't it? Yes. Same thing in first generation computers. If you are using continuously, malfunction due to overheat. That's a disadvantage. Okay. Then next thing is machine language was used. So machine language means machinable understand language. Machine only they can understand some languages. So I am conversing in English, you can able to understand. That is manually understanding language. Like same thing, if we need to interact with computers, computers also need to understand by means of using some languages. That is called as which language? Machine language. So in first generation, which language was used? Machine language was used. Understand? Yes. Once again I am explaining. Now itself you can study. So generation is the first generation. Which period they have used? 1942 to 1955. Which component they have used? Vacuum tubes. What's the disadvantage they are facing? The vacuum tubes are big in size. It will consume more power. Then if you are continuously using malfunction due to overheat. Next one is which language they have used? Machine language they have used. Understand? Yes. Next we are going to the second generations. First generation over. Then which generations we are going? Second generation. So this year and all you need to write correct. Then only you will get full mark. Otherwise they will reduce 2 or 3 marks. Okay. So first generations ends. In which year it will end? 1955. First generation ends in which year? 1955. So second generation starts at which year? 1955 to 1964. Understand? Second generation starts at which year? 1955 to 1964. Which component they have used means transistors. First generation or which component they have used? Vacuum tubes. Second generation which component they have used? Transistors. So in your book they have given one diagram like that is called a transistors. You can see a transistors diagram. So what's the main component used in the second generation? Transistors. Okay. Yeah. Then here lot of merits and demerits is there. First one, smaller compared to first generation. So first generation, what's the first disadvantage I said? Big in size. Size is big. So if they are inventing new and new, so they will overcome the disadvantage faced in first generation. What are the disadvantages they are facing in first generation? They need to overcome the disadvantage facing in that and introduce new. So they are big in size. So here what they are introducing next one transistors. Compared to that, the size is very small. Okay. So what's the disadvantage faced there? There I said the heat becomes more, but here it will generate only less heat. There the power consumption is high. Here the power consumption is very low. Okay, compared to first generation, power consumption is very. So here important point, punch cards were used. Okay, there which one is used? Machine language. So just you differentiate and study, then only it will easy to understand. In first generation, which one it will use? Machine language is using. Second generation, which they are using which one? Punch cards. Very important point. This point you should write. Okay, which one you are using? Punch cards they are using. Okay. So first operating system was developed in which generation? Sometimes they will ask for 1 mark question. First operating system was developed in which generation? Second generation. Okay. So in first operating, what are the things? Batch processing and multi-programming. That and all you have studied in later chapters. You have studied in detail. What are the things you have studied that introducing an operating system? Batch, that means batch-wise processing, and multi-programming. Multiple programs you can done. What are they? So what are the operating systems they have developed in second generation? Batch processing and multi-programming operating system. Next point is machine language as well as assembly language was used. So in first generation, how many languages it is used? Only one language. Which one? Machine language alone. But here they have used machine language as well as assembly. Both language they are using. Understand? Yes, second generation, which was the year. Now itself we study 1955 to 1964. What the component they are using? Transistors. So the most of the things they have advantage, disadvantage facing in the first generation overcome, and they have come in second. What are the things? Size is very low. Size is very small, then it will generate less heat, then power also very less compared to first gen. What is the thing they are introduced? Which cards they have used? Punched cards. Okay. Here in second generation they are introducing first operating system. What's operating system? Batch processing and multi-programming operating system. Okay. Here two languages they have used. What are they? Machine language as well as assembly language. Understand? Yes. Next we are moving to which generation? Third generation. Okay. So second generation we have ended which year? 1964. So continuously you can write. So third generation starts at the year which year? 1964 to 1975. Okay. So which component we are using in the third generation? Integrated circuits. Which component you are using? Integrated. Short form of integrated circuit is IC. IC. Okay. Integrated circuits. So integrated circuits. So the diagram is given in your textbook. There may be like a small chip. So this and all maybe you can see in your physics lab. I think it's so. Okay. So this is called as integrated small chip. Okay. So the third generation computers they introduced which one? Third generation they introduced integrated circuits IC. So here what are the advantages? Computers are very smaller. By using this component, computers become what? Very small. The size of the before in olden days, if you see me, the computer means it is like a CRT monitors, olden days, like a big TV. Nowadays, the size of the computer is very, very small LED monitors. So, computers are very smaller. They introduced in which generation? Third generation. Understand? This will consume very, very less power compared to before generation. It will consume very less. Here, high level languages were used. There, first generation only machine language is used. Second generation, what are the language? Machine language as well as assembly language. Then this generation, high level languages. High level language means some programming language. Okay, these are the things used in which generation? Third generation. Then we are moving to the fourth generation computers. Okay, so this third generation ends in where? 1975. So fourth generation start in which year? 1975 to 1980. Okay. So this is this year they have introduced which one? Microprocessor. Nowadays also our computers have microprocessor, that is very large scale integrated circuits. Microprocessor, VLSI. Sometimes they will ask for one word questions. VLSI means very large scale integrated circuits. Okay. So this fourth generation computers, by using this component, this diagram also they are given in our textbook microprocessor C. Okay. This fourth generation computers are very small compared to before, and it is very, very faster compared to the before generations. Okay. This microcomputers, they are introduced. Which company they have introduced this microprocessor means IBM and Apple. Okay, which company they have introduced this one microprocessor? Important one word question. IBM and Apple company. Which computer they have introduced? Sorry, which company they have introduced this one microprocessor? IBM and Apple company. Okay. In this fourth generation, portable computers. When portable means we can also use based on our wish we can use. That is, portable computers are introduced in which generation? Fourth generation. Okay. Next we are moving to the fifth generation. Okay. Which generation? Fifth generation computers we are using. So fifth generation starts at the year 1980. So now we are using 1982 up to date. Now till now we are using which generation? Fifth generation. Understand? So they sometimes they will ask for one word question. Up to date we are using which generation computer? Which generation computers? Fifth generation computer. So before this fourth generation, I tell VLSI. What do you mean by VLSI? Very large scale integrated circuit. But ULSI, that's the difference. Okay, ULSI means ultra large scale integration. What's ULSI? Ultra large scale integration. So here they have introduced parallel processing. Very, very important point. Parallel processing. That means, so if you are running the programs or applications or softwares, the parallel processing introduced in fifth generation computer. Okay. Then here, which is used superconductors. It is a superconductor. So in this generation, and so till date means up to till date. Nowadays the computer sizes are very, very lap and are very small size. We can able to hold in our hands, like very small size laps are also available. So computer size is very reduced compared to the before generations. Okay. So here this fifth generation recognize images and graphics. So nowadays in computers we can see photos, then what music, then movies, everything we can see. Image, that is images, photos we can see. Then graphical images also you can see. Okay. Then this generations they introduce artificial intelligence. Okay. Which thing they have introduced? Very, very important point. Artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence means robotic. Okay. Robotic based on the things they have introduced in where? Or this fifth generation. So here nowadays using this fifth generation computers we can solve lot high complex problems. High complex problem means company sites or our sites or office work or high complex problems we can solve by using which generation computers? Fifth generation computers. Understand? So this is the fifth generation. Now till date we are using fifth generation computers. Understand? Yes. Next one is sixth generation. Sixth generation is not a developed. That means in future. In future they are using sixth generation, not a developed. So main component may be robots or some other things or some other neural networks. Okay. So here in fifth generation we have studied about which processing? Parallel processing. But in sixth generation what are the things we are studying? Parallel processing as well as distributed computer. So what is the meaning of distributing? So you are distributing chocolates or papers or anything to your friends. That is distributor. The same, in your sitting in your place, you can distribute your files or data to some other place. That is distributed computing. Okay. Then, so here in 6th generation, what they are thinking means, if they are developed means, the computer becomes very smarter and faster and smaller. The smarter, fastly they can do their work and small in size. So this development, 6th generation, they are going to develop in robotic field. They are introducing new things. Here, which language the processing they are using? Natural language. That means whatever we are conversing, likewise some natural language they are used in computers to converse for something. Okay. Then development of voice recognition software. What do you mean by voice recognition? Whatever we are speaking, we can, and nowadays they are recognizing some persons they are speaking by mobile phones. We can easily identify by their voice record. Likewise, voice recognition software also they introduced in 6th generation. Understand? So once again I am explaining. So very important question this one. Generations of computer. 5 generations we have studied. First generation vacuum tubes, second generation transistors, third generation integrated circuit, fourth generation microprocessor, fifth generation ULSI, and sixth generation robots. Very important question. Please, after completion this session, immediately you need to study. Then only study as well as you write and see. Then only you can memorize. Understand? Yes. Next, so in 6th generation computing, they are given some introduction. Okay. So 6th generation means I have introduced in future. Future what you are going to do, isn't it? In future computers, they are era of intelligence. That means intelligence beyond our thinking. So beyond our thinking, the computers can do something. That is what era of intelligence. So computers based on artificial neural networks. Artificial neural network means based on the neural networks. For example, most of you have seen a Yendiran film. I think it's SNA. Yes, in Yendiran film, you have seen lot of codings. They have given based on the coding, the robot can move or robot can work, isn't it? Yes, that is called as or neural networks. Likewise, that in neural networks, they are introducing new things. Okay. One of the most dramatic change in wide area networking. Wide area networking means that means network in lot of places they are going to connect based this 6th generation. Okay, wide area network means wide, lot of area, wide area from most of the places, foreign countries or Indonesian things, lot of things they are going to connect in 6th generation. So here they are using which language means natural processing, language processing. What are the things they are going to do? NLP, natural language processing, as well as AI, artificial intelligence. Okay, so what they are thinking to introduce means the computer can able to understand what we are conversing. That means human language, what we are conversing, that language the computer needs to understand. Okay, that only they are upcoming in this upcoming 6th generation they are going to introduce. That is they provides the ability to develop the computer program to understand which one? Our human language. Understand or not? Yes. So till now I have explained about in which place you are using only. This is the first class for online class. So I have taught only very limited portion, one important 5-mark question. So please study introduction. Just read what is the expansion of computer. Just read it. Then introduction of computers you read. Then generations of computers study, write and see. Then you will never forget. Then I am giving about 6th generation computing. Okay.
That's all for today. You would have got this idea about the basics of computer. Make sure you read the chapter in that day itself before attending my next session. Okay, thank you for your valuable time. Stay home, stay safe, take care.